it's Jeremy Lockhorn from the 4As checking in from South by Southwest 2026 again, where we're exploring a theme we call the creative majority. Right, this idea that everyone now has the tools to create. It's a very South by theme. And what does that mean to advertising agencies in particular? So we're going to dive in. I'm excited to be here with Kate and Peggy from GSD&M. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves to the folks?
Sure. Kate Sheehy, CSO at GSD&M here in Austin, Texas.
And I'm Peggy McCann, Chief Media Officer.
Awesome. So lots of fun stuff at South by. We were just talking about some of the great sessions that we've seen. There's so much of it though. Like, how do you, first of all, what's going to matter in 18 months versus, what's empty hype?
Oh, wow. This is my 16th South by.
Yeah.
And the answer is you have no idea. I think back to a couple years ago where so much of the programming was about NFTs.
Yes, right. Yeah.
NFTs. And we're not talking about that anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas 2 years ago, 3 years ago, AI was a very small piece of the programming. And now look at how it's matured, how it pervades our daily lives as consumers and as professionals.
Yeah.
So I try to ride the wave and just enjoy it all without prognosticating. I found my predictions to be more accurate if I don't make them.
Just give up. Yeah, I like it.
For me, actually, I think it's just human empathy and really continuing to just feel and understand what humans need. I think AI is going to try to take over the human thinking, and I think we as people can't let that happen.
Yeah, there's been so much conversation this year about the importance of in real life, right, and being together, and that's why you have events like this, of course.
Yep.
All right, so the flip side of that question, this one might be easier for you, given your answer to the first one, is what are you deliberately ignoring? Or maybe it's going to be harder. You want to jump in?
Deliberately ignoring.
And the question behind the question is like you have to ignore stuff, kind of to your point, because there's just so much.
Can I tell you what I'm deliberately embracing?
Okay, sure. Yeah, why not?
What I think is interesting about this year's conference is it went from 11 days to 7 days, and the innovation or marketing track, music, film, and comedy are all overlapping. So what I am embracing that I haven't done as much in the past is really looking at things in culture. To Peggy's point about how what we should be taking away from this is the human empathy piece that can't be replaced by machines. What's happening in culture? What are the movies that are going to make you laugh and cry? Comedians are the real genius of insight. So as a strategist, I'm always interested in just like, what are people reacting to? So I don't know what I am intentionally ignoring, but I do know what I have intentionally embraced this time.
Fair enough. As I said, like we're theming this whole thing around this idea of the creative majority, and in this world where everyone has tools and everyone is creative or a creator, clearly that has a lot of implications for agencies. But it's not new, right? This has been going on for a long time. AI is perhaps accelerating and transforming different pieces of it. But when did that change really kind of hit for you, and what did it change for you?
I feel like your team is on the forefront of how we're using all of the AI tools inside Omnicom.
Yeah, we burn through thousands of data points in seconds now. It's amazing how we don't use AI to replace our thinking, but we do use it to actually make faster analysis of the data. And so now we can go through and get find patterns of human behavior within the data really fast. And it's just helping us draw much quicker insights in what matters to people, what makes them tick, and how do we connect with them.
Yeah, awesome. So one of the other challenges with this, particularly the idea of the creative majority and everybody being a creator, is how do you now differentiate agency creativity from sort of creator creativity?
The way we think about it is brands are they're like a bird nest, right? Lots of different twigs or straw that are going to make it up. And the paid advertising is one piece of it, right? So yes, of course, we're still thinking in big platform ways, but those can be executed and supported in myriad channels or by myriad creatives. So that can look like working with influencers, that can be user-generated content, and of course it can be how Peggy's team helps us think about the best possible channel to take a big platform idea and execute it in different ways. So I would say there's no ego here. It would be naive to say that only the advertising is the thing that is going to be creative. So really we're looking at the full bird's nest.
Yeah, I love that analogy. It's a good one. And in that world, like agencies often become almost like orchestrators, right? And your team in particular having to manage distribution across all these different channels. So, All right. So last year, the 4As released our look ahead, where we hypothesized that there's going to be a choice for agencies. One path would be that you become purveyors of marketing technology, basically. So in the context of the creative majority, it would be platforms that power creators, right? Or higher order strategic consultants to clients, and maybe going past the CMO to the CEO, for example, and then maybe a hybrid middle. Which path is most urgent, and is it realistic to make a choice?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question.
Yeah, I think we have to be both.
And they're both equally urgent.
Yes, equally urgent.
Yeah.
I think we have to parallel path. I think, agencies have the platform and the data and the technology to use the data. But I think business consultants we're becoming so important because we are so much closer to the customer, and we really do understand what the customer needs and wants. And I think as a consultant, we can help our clients understand what's that next product that they need to focus on.
Yeah, love that. So with all this stuff evolving and all these changes going on, what has changed inside of your organization in the last 12 months? As an example, like ways of structuring teams differently, you're looking for different talent.
I mean, you can't talk about what's happening inside of GSD&M without thinking through what has happened over the last year with IPG and Omnicom's merger. Yeah. And the beauty is we now have the most powerful data stack that exists in the advertising agency landscape. So the access we have to things like Axiom's Real ID, so that we actually know what real people are thinking, wanting, doing in the world, as well as great kind of survey and mindset and psychographic data that we can map to that. Like the access to my team, especially in strategy. I know media has had this for a long time, but from a strategic perspective, the access we have also helps strategy to move much faster. It means when we do take our time and do slow research, if you will, like spending a lot of time with ethnography or IDIs, there's a solid foundation we got to fairly quickly that lets our hypotheses be that much sharper and smarter, and the work we do in research tends to be a lot more insightful and fruitful.
Yeah, let's get in the time machine. We're going to go back to the beginning of your careers. If you've managed to find yourself, which is always dangerous, right? What advice would you give yourself, first year on the job?
Oh, wow.
Knowing what you know now.
So it's very poetic because my first real job that shaped who I am today and got me back into marketing communications was at an Austin Ventures funded startup here in town. And I joined in January, and 2 months later I went to my first ever South by.
Oh, wow.
And I remember being like, holy cow, there's all these, I'm a young person, the world that is available and the ways that brands can express themselves. This is right after Twitter has been launched at South by Southwest. So if I could go back and tell myself anything, you're gonna feel that way every single year as technology changes, as consumer behavior changes. So buckle up, sister, because it's gonna be a fun ride.
I love it.
Yeah, I think for me too, it was it's embrace the diversity of thinking, embrace the ability to learn and grow and challenge yourself, and don't think you know it all, because something comes along and you learn something very different and a different perspective. If I could go back, I wish I had created a learning plan for myself every year and tried to stick with that and try to grow each year and learn something different.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. That's a great place to leave it. Thank you so much for making time for us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in, and stay tuned for more updates from the 4As.